We are taking a close look at Homeworld 3. Is it good or bad? Stick with us as we check out the game to see if it's worth playing. Let's start with gameplay. Homeworld 3 is a game that mixes strategy and space battles. People who've played previous games in the series will find it familiar, but there are some problems that make it not as fun as it could be. Firstly, let's address the issue of controls. The lack of support for left-handed players and the inability to rebind keys may seem like minor concerns to some, but for those affected, it can be a significant barrier to enjoying the game. Controls are the primary interface between player and game, and when they feel clunky or unintuitive, it can greatly detract from the overall experience. Moving on to abilities, one of the core gameplay mechanics in Homeworld 3, there are clear issues that need to be addressed. Abilities such as the Interceptor's Overcharge and the Bomber's Cloak are meant to add depth and strategy to combat encounters. However, in their current state, they are too easily spammed without consequences. This leads to a gameplay loop that feels repetitive and shallow, where success is determined more by how quickly you can press buttons rather than strategic decision-making. This stands in stark contrast to Homeworld 1's approach to abilities, where there were clear drawbacks and resource costs associated with using them. In that game, players had to carefully manage their resources and weigh the pros and cons of using abilities in any given situation. This added depth and nuance to gameplay, rewarding thoughtful strategy over mindless button mashing. The lack of depth in abilities not only diminishes player engagement, but also undermines the strategic elements that are supposed to be the cornerstone of the Homeworld experience. Without meaningful choices to make in combat, the gameplay becomes shallow and unsatisfying, leaving players longing for the strategic depth of previous installments in the series. Next up, let's talk about combat, one of the most thrilling aspects of the Homeworld series. While Homeworld 3 retains the epic scale and intensity of space battles, there are some notable issues that detract from the experience. First, let's talk about big ship battles. In earlier Homeworld games, these were a big deal because you could control how they moved during fights. But in Homeworld 3, that's gone. Before, you could tell your big ships to move in a certain way while still shooting at enemies. This made battles more strategic because you could position your ships to attack better. Now, without this feature, battles feel less dynamic. Also, there used to be a cool command called Attack Move, which let your ships keep moving while still attacking. Without it, ships have to stop moving to fight, which makes them easier targets for enemies. This takes away some of the excitement and strategy from battles. In the older games, how you attacked from different angles mattered because it could do more damage. But in Homeworld 3, that's not really a thing anymore. This means battles are less about clever tactics and more about just shooting. Lastly, when big ships blew up in earlier games, it was a big flashy event with lots of explosions and noise. But in Homeworld 3, it's kind of underwhelming. This makes battles less immersive and exciting. Homeworld 3 is all about how it looks and sounds. The game's visuals are incredible, with detailed spacecraft and stunning space backgrounds that make you feel like you're really exploring the universe. The developers clearly put a lot of effort into making everything visually immersive. The music in Homeworld 3 is just as impressive. It's epic and atmospheric, adding a whole new level of excitement to the game. Whether you're peacefully exploring the cosmos or engaged in intense battles, the music enhances the experience and draws you further into the game's world.
Increase thrust. We copy.
Going critical. I'm on my way.
Receiving.
However, there are a couple of things that some players aren't happy about. One is the redesign of the mothership, a key element in the Homeworld series. Changing such an iconic part of the game can be divisive among fans, with some loving the new look and others feeling disappointed by the departure from the original design. Another issue is the lack of unit progression. In previous games, your units could improve over time as they gained experience from battles. This added depth to the gameplay and made players feel more connected to their units. Without this feature in Homeworld 3, some players feel like they're missing out on a key part of the strategy and enjoyment of the game. So, is Homeworld 3 worth playing? It offers a familiar yet flawed experience for fans of the series. While it delivers epic space battles and stunning visuals, it's held back by issues with controls, ability mechanics, and combat depth. Whether it's worth playing ultimately depends on your love for the Homeworld universe and your tolerance for its shortcomings. Based on the demo, I would give it a 5 out of 10. Keep in mind that this score may change with the release of the full game. And with that, we've reached the end of our analysis. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the stars. Until next time, catch you in the next video.